How do you turn a club known for crashing out of the round of 16 into consecutive Champions League winners? You stop building around a single superstar. Neymar saw the flaws in the Mbappe-centric project long before the board did. This is the financial blueprint of how PSG traded individual egos for a functional squad, and how it inadvertently fulfilled Neymar's final warning. On August 3, 2017, Paris Saint-Germain didn't just break the transfer market. They attempted to buy European football outright by depositing €222 million in cash for Neymar Jr. To the rest of the world, it looked like the start of a global football empire. To Neymar, within 6 months of walking into the Parc des Princes dressing room, it was clear the club was walking directly into a trap. Before the media controversies, before the locker room fallouts, and long before PSG's Galáctico project collapsed into public legal battles, Neymar left behind an internal warning about the club's culture. Everyone fell for the spectacle of the record-breaking fee, but almost everyone missed the structural flaw Neymar warned them about, a flaw that would ultimately burn over €1.3 billion in cumulative wages and leave PSG with 0 European trophies to show for it. Let's look at what actually happened inside Paris in 2017. When Qatar Sports Investments signed Neymar for €222 million and added Kylian Mbappé for €180 million, the plan was clear. Turn PSG into an international pop culture icon. Think of it like buying an ultra-rare luxury supercar on an unlimited credit card, but forgetting to check if the vehicle actually has an engine. On the balance sheet, it worked initially. Commercial revenue spiked, jersey sales broke records, and PSG became a fashion brand. But inside the dressing room, Neymar raised immediate alarms to the executive board. His warning was simple. The club was prioritizing celebrity appeal over sporting structure. PSG was building a product to sell shirts in Tokyo, not a disciplined football team capable of surviving 90 minutes of tactical pressure in the Champions League. Instead of fixing a weak midfield or strengthening a fragile defense, PSG kept taking out massive financial loans on reputation, signing aging superstars like Sergio Ramos, Lionel Messi, and Georginio Wijnaldum on astronomical tax-free wage packages. By making individual stars bigger than the manager, PSG created an environment where player ego dictated tactical decisions. Giving superstars total freedom seemed like the fastest shortcut to European glory. Yet that exact decision destroyed team discipline, maxed out their payroll, and triggered an internal power struggle that threatened to tear the club apart. Which brings us to the moment PSG tried to fix this chaos by making an offer that fundamentally broke the sports world. When tension between Neymar and Kylian Mbappé peaked in May 2022, Mbappé was weeks away from joining Real Madrid on a free transfer. PSG panicked. To prevent a massive public relations disaster, Nasser Al-Khelaifi handed Mbappé a sports contract unprecedented in human history, a reported €630 million gross package over 3 years, alongside informal veto power over transfers and managerial hires. The media called it a masterstroke. In reality, it was the ultimate illusory solution. Handing one player total authority was just a band-aid over a rotting sporting model. Instead of fixing the structural imbalance Neymar had warned about, PSG simply doubled down on individual power. The tactical consequences on the pitch were immediate. You now had a front line of Messi, Neymar, and Mbappé, 3 luxury assets who collectively offered 0 defensive pressing volume off the ball. In elite European football, playing with 3 attackers who refused to track back against top transition teams is tactical suicide. PSG was paying over €700 million a year in squad salaries, the highest payroll in global sports history. Yet statistically, they were easier to pass through in Champions League knockouts than mid-table League One clubs. Neymar's warning had materialized. PSG had built the world's most expensive luxury showcase, but they didn't have a functional football team. In the summer of 2023, PSG decided to end the circus. They sold Neymar to Al Hilal for €90 million, let Lionel Messi leave for free, and declared that the superstar era was officially over. On paper, cutting their wage bill to give Mbappé total ownership of the team looked like a complete tactical reset. So why did this exact move trigger the ultimate financial betrayal, leaving PSG completely empty-handed just 12 months later? When PSG sold Neymar to Al Hilal for €90 million in August 2023, the board tried to spin the narrative. They announced to the press that Paris was finally abandoning the Galáctico era to build a humble, work-rate-focused squad under Luis Enrique. It sounded like a strategic masterstroke. It was actually the final act of an illusory solution. Clearing out Neymar and Lionel Messi was not a planned tactical revolution. It was an emergency measure to prevent PSG from collapsing under UEFA's financial fair play limits, after committing over €600 million to Mbappe's contract. And the ultimate irony, by clearing out the entire dressing room to satisfy one individual, PSG built a squad so dependent on single-star power that Mbappé realized the project had no European ceiling anyway. In June 2024, the worst-case financial scenario materialized. Kylian Mbappé officially walked out of Paris Saint-Germain to join Real Madrid on a free transfer, an asset PSG spent €180 million to acquire and hundreds of millions more to protect, walked out the door without yielding a single single cent in transfer revenue. PSG spent 7 years sacrificing their tactical identity, their squad harmony, and over 1.3 billion euros in wages, only to watch their crown jewel leave for nothing. To understand why PSG was forced into this corner, you have to look at the silent killer of football finance: amortization. When a club buys a player for 222 million euros on a 5-year contract, that fee doesn't hit the balance sheet all at once. Accounting rules spread that cost out evenly, meaning PSG had 44.4 million euros in pure transfer amortization hitting their books every single year, completely separate from Neymar's 50 million euro annual salary. Think of it like buying an ultra-luxury house on a massive mortgage while simultaneously taking out a high-interest credit card just to pay for the monthly electricity bill. By the time 2023 rolled around, UEFA introduced stricter financial fair play regulations, capping a club's squad costs at 70% of their total club revenue. PSG's wage bill had blown past 700 million euros, pushing their squad cost ratio past 90%. They weren't selling Neymar to usher in a new tactical philosophy under Luis Enrique. They were liquidating their biggest asset because their corporate credit card was about to be declined by European football regulators. It was an emergency fire sale disguised as a sporting reboot. And when a club makes sporting decisions strictly to satisfy an emergency accounting balance sheet, the locker room always pays the ultimate price. PSG's current shift towards signing young talent like Bradley Barcola and João Neves is being celebrated by media pundits as a brilliant modern rebuild. Yet when you look at the total ledger over the last 9 years, is this new model a calculated master plan or a forced surrender after burning through €1 billion? Here is the final verdict from the accounting department at NetSpend FC. Between 2017 and 2026, Paris Saint-Germain executed the most euros on 2 transfer fees alone, shattered global payroll benchmarks, and assembled the most marketable forward line ever seen on a pitch. Yet they exited the Galáctico era with 0 Champions League trophies, 0 asset recovery on their 3 biggest superstars, and a fractured wage structure. Neymar's initial warning in 2017 proved entirely correct. You cannot buy a footballing culture, you can only build one. PSG tried to bypass that reality by throwing money at individual genius. In the end, the pitch exposed what the accounting books tried to hide: that stacking marketability without functional team balance isn't squad building, it's just an extremely expensive show. Which brings us to our final question for the community. Was the €222 million Neymar transfer the single worst financial domino effect in football history? Drop your breakdown in the comments below. Smash that like button, subscribe to keep your ledgers clean, and we'll see you on the next NetSpend audit.